Good evening and very warm welcome to the Grassroots Weekender Show. Excuse me, we're here on Sunday. Yes, Sunday all day, but Sunday also brings, Guy Fawkes. Yes, better known as Bonfire Night over here in the UK. But let me tell you now, I wasn't sure whether I got the dates mixed up. As last night on the 4th of November, the skies were lighting up with fireworks, bangers, you name it, rockets flying everywhere. I couldn't believe the money, the amount of money that was spent last night. I don't know whether things were going on in the docks in Liverpool, I'm not sure, but they were going on till almost 11:30 p.m. at night. And I heard one this morning at 6 a.m, would you believe? So people have just got too much money to burn, I'd say. And yeah, excuse the pun, but that's the way it is. And today we have an extra special Guy Fawkes Bonfire Night, don't we? Yes, it's where the skies actually do light up right across the UK. Well, how many millions of pounds are we throwing down the drain? It's great for the kids, great for everyone else, but while you're out, or I hope you sent the message out to all the kids in grassroots football today, to all the managers, to be safe this evening. Don't be silly with fireworks. There's plenty of stores still selling them. I don't understand. I thought there were strict rules on them and kids are getting hold of them. You've got to be careful on a day like today because it's one of those things where kids just don't know the dangers that when they're holding these fireworks, throwing these fireworks, they need to be safe. And I hope you coaches, you managers, passed all the message on to every single child out there to be safe, because not all of them will be with the parents, I'll guarantee you that. They'll be out looking for bonfires so they can stand around. And remember, many years ago, I used to love it, but we were respectful with the fireworks. We did use them, but we didn't throw them at anyone. We weren't silly with them. We just had a bonfire, we had a nice field, and we all sat around. And you know what, we were there till about 2 o'clock in the morning. And what we used to do is have these potatoes. We all took potatoes and we had these like skewers, and we put them in the bonfire, and we ate them when they were done, when they were cooked, and they were roasting hot and they were burnt in the skin, and they were gorgeous, but our faces were black off them. What we'd done to ourselves, we really don't know. But it was lovely and warm. We always tended to have a couch, a spare chair, and we always kept them to put round the bonfire, and people were sitting on them, and we had hundreds of people coming to see them, setting the fireworks off. It was safe, it was nice, no one was really injured. And I was silly going back many years ago once when I was allowed to hold a banger, and I lit it, and I got waylaid with fireworks that were going on, and I held this banger. Lucky enough it was like this, you know, and my hand was pretty loose, but I forgot I had it in my hand. The next thing, it exploded, and it was like I couldn't explain it. My hand was, it was terrible. It was really, that was me holding. Never, ever again was I silly, you know what I mean? I was going to put it down, and I just forgot to put it down when it was lit for some reason. You know, the concentration goes. Boy, that taught me a lesson. I still remember that now. And I'd never ever, I was always very careful going to like the fireworks, doing it for the grandkids, my own kids. It was something special, and you make sure that they're well away, seated, watching, having a nice time and enjoying themselves. And that's what we want. And I hope, as you say, you pass the message on to each and every one of those kids in your team today, if you remember, because I know how stressful grassroots football is. You know, you've got to try and remember everything that you do in the scores, the kids, who's turning up, your admin, getting that ready, finalised. The main thing is, if you've got one player late or doesn't turn up, then the whole structure of your team just goes, doesn't it? It really does. Now, I've got to get a message out to parents, because we were all talking yesterday, and when you've got a team of 6-year-old kids, just some of them just touching 7 now, they're still, obviously, they're really learning, and it's amazing when you take these kids to school that you see, well, you don't see parents sitting in the classroom over them, telling them what to do, where to go, how to coach them, how to teach them. You don't see that whatsoever. But when you go to grassroots football, all the parents need to get involved. They all want to tell you how to run things, what to do, and they all tend to forget that if you're in a team, you've got to be winning. You've got to be winning. That team has to be winning, no matter what. There's some great teams out there, and it's love to see, and I think you've heard me mention before, I love my team to go against better teams, because I believe that the kids will learn of better teams, you know, kids who've got more experience, shall we say, and when your team's just developing, and the late learners maybe, the late developers, whereas some kids can take to it like a duck on water, can't they? And it's great, and you see those kids together passing the ball. I love to see that. I love to see it. I love our kids to watch. They're involved in that, and they can only learn, they can only get better by watching other kids perform, listening to other managers, listening to other coaches, but never listening to the parents, because the parents will get up, hit it. You know, it's one of those. I like to see kids passing. Yes, I do. At the end of the day, and I do like to see them well drilled, well organised, but also with good attitudes. But the main thing is, 6-year-old kids, the hardest part of coaching those kids is getting them to listen. It really is. The kids need to listen. You think they're listening, but their minds are elsewhere. They're looking at different things. You've got to get them to focus, get the concentration going, because they switch off very, very quickly indeed. And they forget what they're supposed to be doing. Now when they play a football match, now I've got a team of kids that I've just brought together. I think there was 1 or 2 of them had a little teeny bit of experience in a football team, and the others have just come together and they had no experience whatsoever. So we're trying to develop these kids, and we will develop the kids, but it's taken longer than normal, as we all know. As we all know, some kids can just be messing around on a football pitch. They do not understand what they need to do. Now, we always turn around and talk about the referee, the laws of the games, don't we? And parents are always telling the referee what to do as well, but they've never studied the laws of the games. And 9 times out of 10, if you look at the Premier League, there's still things, decisions going wrong there. We have VAR, we have top class referees, and there's still decisions, poor decisions made. Yeah, you'd agree, all referees are human and they will make mistakes. We know that, we agree with that. And it's exactly the same with the kids, but they need to take that information on board before they become better players. So that's what you're up against, drumming it into the kids to try and get them to learn, as well as what else is going on in life and in their families. We need to get these kids to concentrate on the football. Now, it's great when you've got them one-to-one, but when you've got 8 kids, you can't really have one-to-one, can you? Unless the parents, mums and dads, want to take them to coaching lessons, take them elsewhere and pay one-to-one fees, which I doubt it very, very much now, because they're coming very, very dear indeed. So, you've got to take it into account that the kids are 6 years of age, 7 years of age, and they are developing. Now, we're in the development league. It's not called a development league for nothing. And we've come across some nice kids, some great teams, great managers who are performing and being together for 2 years. Ours of less than 3 months. So what you'd expect? It's got to take time to gel. That will happen, but you need to get a message out to the parents. You need to bear with them. If you don't like it, you need to move on. If you think your child is better and will make it better in another team, that's fine. No one will hold you back. No one will hold you back. We'll encourage you to go if that's the way you want. And we'll bring other kids in who want to develop and learn, and parents who will get behind their team, encourage their kids and every other child who's on that pitch. That's the parents that you do want. You don't want parents who believe that the child is a world beater and should be better thought of or better played, or, you know, everyone's got to build around that one person. It's as simple as that. So you will build a team, and I've been there, done it, wore the t-shirt over 40 odd years. You know, I'm back into it and I'm seeing things, but I see different lights, different things in grassroots football. The way it's changed, the way people deal with each other, the way leagues are run, the way you name it, the way things are going is not too good at the moment. It really, really isn't. And I could, do you know what, I feel like I could walk away tomorrow, but obviously I want to build a team. If a coach comes into me and says, Mal, I'll do that team, wow, do it, fantastic, great, I'll take a back seat. That is what I want, because what I've seen and what I've heard has just amazed me at the moment. Now, we're looking at teams folding as much as just 8 weeks together. 8 weeks that they formed in the leagues, and teams are folding already. What is the reason behind that? Now, the stats I want, I'd love to see. Now, we've got the FAs, they all put the stats out, and the stats suggest that many referees are leaving. They're leaving because of the verbal abuse and the aggressive behaviour, and I've no doubt that could happen. I really have no doubt that is, and they put the figures out and the stats, how many referees are leaving, how many they're bringing on board. But what stats we don't get is how many coaches are walking away from the game and how many teams are folding. And also, when an abandonment goes in from a referee, a disciplinary, when it goes in, the stats that I'd like to see come out is how many of those cards that go in for abandonment games are upheld, how many teams are fined, how much are they fined, and obviously we all know where does it go. We need obviously the breakdown of all the money that goes in there, but the stats that I'm looking for would be to see just how many teams win an appeal or whatever it is on an abandonment game, why the reasons are behind it. Is it referees and there's the managers and coaches, or does it even itself out, or yeah, slightly? So they're the stats I'd love to see, and I'm sure they're all available from the county FAs, and yeah, I'm sure they'll release them if requested. So I need the channels to go down to find out how we get these stats, so we could willingly say, fantastic, there's that many managers that not are leaving in grassroots football. It's amazing, but we're seeing a lot more now, and I'd like to see the reasons behind why these teams are folding. Is it the money side of things? Is it the admin side of things? Is it just there's too much pressure with everything that they need to do now, and they just simply had enough? And it's slight, and it really is poor for the children, because it leaves those kids excuse me, without without a team without a team to play for, a league to go in. Now, I always look at the coaches, the managers, they're the backbone behind the teams. They bring the teams together. Now, if you had no teams in a league, there'd be no league, there'd be no referees required, because there is no teams. So we need to encourage more of the coaches and the managers to come together, but they have many responsibilities. Is it too many responsibilities? Because they are unpaid coaches, and they're doing a lot of work, a lot of admin, a lot of work to go in, what they do to run a team. And I've seen that from many years ago, the difference in what you need to do and what you have to do. Safeguarding DBS, love it, think it's absolutely fantastic. We need that in grassroots football, but what we don't need is the pennies, the cost to volunteers to take the safeguarding DBS courses. We really, really don't, because they are pricing them out of the game. Volunteers should be backed, volunteers should be funded, it all should be free if we want teams to enter competitions. Now, we've got big clubs with 60 odd teams, and they're bound to get problems with parents and things like that, so there must be a lot of abandoned games going in from the big clubs. The bigger the club, the more teams they have, the more parents they have, so obviously they're going to get a lot of disputes, let's say, on the sidelines. So if it's a little club, if it's a 1-2 club, you need to know, you need to find out what is going on, you know, with an abandonment. If you just got one club and you've been summoned in to your local FA over an abandoned game, or your league has suspended it and the referee's put a report in, the referee's report, is it given 100% that it's absolutely spot on. And when the manager's report goes in, or statement, is that just thrown away by the by, because it's not agreed with. So all I'm asking for is I'd like to see how many managers, coaches, teams win against the county FA if they put an appeal in, or if they're defending their case. I'd like to see just what stats are going in, because they have to keep a record. So we shouldn't be hiding behind anything. Those stats should be published every year. The amount of teams that have gone in with abandoned games, then we can work out what sort of teams, what clubs. I could go out and say, well, I've got to see what these teams are like. And the amount of fines that they're paying to your local county FA, because they're all voluntary teams, and all they're doing is getting a lot of money off the parents. So I think everyone can see where I'm coming from. So we've got 4 minutes left of this. So if anyone knows out there about stats, mal@don'textheline.com, get in touch with me. If you're a manager who's packed in and walked away, I'd love to know the reasons why. Get in touch with me, come on the show, or just let me know why you walked away if you don't want to come onto the show. mal@don'textheline.com, add me as a friend on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all the social network sites, because we need stats. We need to know how we can grow the game. People say how we can grow the game. The FA always say grow the game. You've seen that. Now, if we're not growing the game and teams are walking away, then something's going wrong somewhere along the line. So we need to bring it all into perspective, work together, because I now will not, the grassroots family, I don't use that anymore, because there's no grassroots family. There really, really isn't, because it's everyone for their own. And what I've seen, what I've witnessed, I've got stories to tell, I can see it. And obviously, when I walk away from the game, which hopefully won't be too long on it to go away from it, but while I'm in it, I'm seeing a lot, I'm hearing a lot, and honestly, it's unbelievable. I could write a book on it now, and maybe that could be part of the book, because I've been talking about putting a book together for years, for the work that we've done with Don't Cross the Line, the Respect campaign, who we've had on board, but what differences we do see with your county FAs, with your FAs. What do we see? How do we see things? Grassroots awards, the way it's all run, the money that's spent, and the price of training and football, which is scandalous for teams. The money is just immense. We're trying to bring grassroots football money as high as the Premier League. That's my honest opinion. The only difference is no one gets paid for it, except maybe a handful of coaches who have gone professional within the grassroots game. Maybe there's more than a handful, we know that. But the majority of coaches and managers I know out there are all voluntary and doing it within their own time. They're not paid. So remember that when you go out to grassroots football. They're all voluntary and they're trying to do a job. So mums, dads, parents, you've got to take a back seat and just let the managers do it. Let the managers and coaches work. They've got the experience, they know what they've been through, they know what they have to do. They're collecting money, they're trying to make sure the kids have got kits, they're trying to find sponsors, they're trying to make a difference within the community, within the club, and with your player as well. And I've been there, done it, wore the t-shirt, seen kids and parents right through those many, many years who think their son, daughter are world beaters, and they're going to go to an academy and they're going to make it tomorrow. Their child is better than anyone. Seen it all before, and I could tell you by looking at the child whether they'll make it or not. I just seem to have one of those eyes, but I'm not in the coaching side of things, sorry, in the scouting side of things with your teams. I stand back, watch, and I've talked to many, many coaches as well, and the stories that I hear from the coaches about the parents, about their children, is just unbelievable, honestly. I've been there, done it, wore the t-shirt, and I've got a lot of stories to tell, and I'm learning every single day that I go out to watch grassroots football, and I watch leagues, I watch teams, I watch managers, coaches, parents, you name it. I'm watching everyone who's involved in grassroots football, positive and negative, and I've got a lot of stories and a lot of information that I want the world to hear, because I think we could make and improve grassroots football a lot more. and by doing grassroots football and improving it, the simple thing is we don't want to see all the parents paying too much money out, all managers, coaches are out their own pockets. So it's play more, save more. Honestly, we need these campaigns to go on and help the kids to enjoy themselves. More play, less pay. That's the campaign that we are promoting. Get on board with it. I'd love to hear from you, love to hear your stories, especially if you're a referee who's walked away from the game or come into the game, and your managers and coaches. Let's get everyone together and let's find out the actual facts, what are going on. From myself, Mal Lee, hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy and be safe on Bonfire Night. Kids, don't throw fireworks. Stay safe, stay behind them, stay at arm's length when you like them. We don't want to see any injuries. We want kids to be there for next week playing grassroots football. In the meantime, thanks for joining in from the weekend show. We'll be back again on Friday evening with the young commentators. Myself, Mal Lee, and all the team at the Grassroots Show. Don't cross the line, respect programme, and no ref, no game. Plus our hearts of gold. And don't forget our night out on the 23rd of November. We'll see you on Friday night at 7 p.m. Good night, God bless.